I never believed in those moments that change everything until the night Maya kissed me in my kitchen and walked out without saying another word. We'd been best friends for 6 years. 6 years of late-night conversations, shared secrets, and a connection so deep I sometimes forgot where I ended, and she began. But that kiss, God, that kiss rewrote everything I thought I knew about us, about myself, about what had been hiding in plain sight all along. It started 3 weeks before the kiss, though I didn't recognize it then. Maya showed up at my apartment on a Tuesday night, which wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the look on her face when I opened the door. She seemed almost fragile, her dark eyes searching mine like she was looking for an answer to a question she hadn't asked yet. I remember thinking she looked beautiful in that vulnerable way, her hair pulled back messily, wearing that oversized sweater I'd always loved on her. We settled into our usual spots on my couch, her legs tucked underneath her, me sprawled out with my feet on the coffee table. We were supposed to be watching some new series everyone was talking about, but neither of us paid attention. Instead, we talked about everything and nothing. Her recent breakup with Derek, my frustrating job situation, the way life felt like it was moving too fast and too slow at the same time. Then she said something that made my heart skip. She turned to me, her voice quieter than usual, and said, "Do you ever feel like you're waiting for something, but you don't know what it is?" The way she looked at me when she said it felt different. Waited. Like the question meant more than the words suggested. I laughed it off, made some joke about waiting for my life to start making sense, but her expression didn't change. She just kept looking at me with those impossibly deep eyes, and for the first time in our friendship, I felt nervous under her gaze. The second time I should have noticed something was shifting happened at her place. She'd invited me over for dinner, just the two of us, which again wasn't unusual. We did this all the time, but that night felt different from the moment I walked in. She'd cooked my favorite meal, lit candles, put on soft music. It looked like a date, and the thought made my stomach flip in a way I refused to examine too closely. During dinner, she kept watching me, not in the comfortable, familiar way she usually did, but with an intensity that made my skin feel too tight. Every time our hands accidentally touched, reaching for the wine bottle or passing the salt, I felt this electric current run through me. It was like my body was responding to something my mind hadn't caught up to yet. We ended up on her balcony after dinner, sharing a blanket against the cool night air. The city lights spread out before us, and Maya moved closer, close enough that I could smell her perfume, that vanilla and sandalwood scent I'd always associated with comfort and home. She rested her head on my shoulder, and I felt my breathing change, become more conscious, more careful. "I love you. You know that?" she said softly. We'd said it to each other 1,000 times, but something in her tone made it sound new, made it sound like she was saying something entirely different. I told her I loved her too, and she lifted her head to look at me. Her face was inches from mine, and I swear I felt the air between us shift, become charged with possibility. For a moment I thought she might kiss me right then, and I realized with startling clarity that I wanted her to. But she didn't. She just smiled this sad, complicated smile and looked away. The third incident happened at a party we went to together the following weekend. Maya had been drinking. Not drunk, but loose and uninhibited in a way that made her even more magnetic than usual. She kept finding reasons to touch me, her hand on my lower back, guiding me through the crowd, her fingers playing with my hair while we talked to other people. At one point, she pulled me onto the makeshift dance floor, and we moved together in a way that felt dangerously intimate. Some guy tried to cut in, to dance with Maya, and she waved him off without even looking at him. She kept her eyes locked on mine, her body close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from her skin. The song changed to something slower, and she wrapped her arms around my neck, swaying against me. I put my hands on her waist, and it felt like the most natural and the most terrifying thing I'd ever done. She leaned in close, her lips nearly touching my ear, and whispered, "Why does this feel different?" I pulled back to look at her, to ask what she meant, but she just shook her head and pulled me closer again. We stayed like that for 3 more songs, wrapped up in each other while the party continued around us. When we finally left, she held my hand the entire walk to the car, our fingers intertwined like we were something more than what we'd always claimed to be. The drive home was quiet, thick with unspoken tension. I kept glancing at her in the passenger seat, watching the streetlights play across her face. She caught me looking once and smiled, reaching over to squeeze my hand. Neither of us acknowledged what was happening, this shift between us, but it was there, undeniable and growing stronger. Then came that night, the night everything broke open. Maya texted me around 9, asking if she could come over. She said she needed to talk, that something was on her mind. I told her, of course, trying to ignore the way my heart raced at the thought of seeing her. I changed my shirt 3 times before she arrived, which should have told me everything I needed to know about what I was feeling. When she showed up, she looked nervous. Actually nervous, which I'd rarely seen from confident, self-assured Maya. She declined my offer of wine, paced around my living room for a few minutes, then finally stopped in front of me. I was sitting on the arm of my couch, watching her with growing concern. "I need to tell you something," she said, and my stomach dropped. I thought maybe she was moving away, or getting back together with Derek, or that I'd done something to upset her. I wasn't prepared for what came next. She took a deep breath, stepped closer, and said, "I've been trying to figure out how to say this for weeks now. I've been trying to understand it myself, to make sense of what I'm feeling, but every time I try to put it into words, they feel wrong, inadequate, like language wasn't designed for this." I stood up, closing some of the distance between us. "Maya, you're scaring me. Just tell me what's going on." She laughed, but it sounded almost desperate. "That's just it. I can't explain it. I've tried. I've written it down, deleted it, written it again. I've rehearsed speeches in my car, in the shower, lying awake at 3 a.m, but none of it captures what this is, what you are to me, what we've become." My heart was pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. "What are we?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She looked at me with such raw emotion that I felt it in my chest. "I don't know. That's what I can't explain. All I know is that somewhere along the way, you stopped being just my best friend. When I'm with you, I feel more alive than I do anywhere else. When I'm not with you, I'm counting down the time until I see you again. When you touch me, even accidentally, my whole body responds. When you smile at me a certain way, I forget how to breathe." I was frozen, unable to process what she was saying, unable to reconcile it with years of friendship and assumption. "Maya, She shook her head, stepping even closer. We were barely a foot apart now. "I know this is crazy. I know this could ruin everything, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. I can't keep acting like my heart doesn't race every time you're near. I can't keep lying to myself about what you mean to me." "Then, what are you saying?" I asked, even though part of me already knew. She reached up and cupped my face in her hands, her touch so gentle it made me ache. I'm saying I can't explain it. I can't put it into neat words or make it make sense. All I can do is show you. And then she kissed me. She kissed me like she'd been dying to for years, like I was air and she'd been drowning. Her lips were soft and insistent, and the moment they touched mine, everything else fell away. The world narrowed to just us, just this moment, just the feeling of her mouth on mine, and her hands in my hair, and the way my entire body seemed to wake up to something it had been waiting for, without knowing. I kissed her back, my hands finding her waist and pulling her closer. It felt like coming home and jumping off a cliff at the same time. It felt right in a way that made me wonder how I'd ever thought we were just friends. Every nerve ending was alive, every sense heightened. I could taste the mint on her breath, smell her perfume mixed with something uniquely her, feel the rapid beat of her heart against my chest. The kiss deepened, became more urgent, more desperate. Years of unacknowledged tension poured into it, all the almost moments and loaded glances and touches that had lingered too long. My back hit the wall, though I didn't remember moving, and Maya pressed against me like she was trying to memorize the shape of my body with hers. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, she rested her forehead against mine. Her eyes were still closed, her hands still tangled in my hair. I waited for her to say something, to explain, to tell me what happened next. I was ready to dive into this with her, to explore whatever this was between us. Consequences be damned. But then she opened her eyes, and I saw fear there alongside the desire. She pulled back slightly, her hands dropping to her sides. "I can't," she whispered. "I can't explain it." Before I could respond, before I could tell her she didn't need to explain it, that I felt it too, she was moving toward the door. "Maya, wait!" I called out, my voice desperate, but she just shook her head. She paused at the door, her hand on the knob, and looked back at me one last time. The expression on her face was so complex, so full of longing and fear and regret and hope, that it took my breath away. "I'm sorry," she said. "I just needed you to know. I needed to show you, even if I couldn't say it. But I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to be this." And then she was gone, leaving me standing in my living room, my lips still tingling from her kiss, my heart racing, my entire world tilted on its axis. I slid down the wall and sat there on the floor, touching my lips, trying to process what had just happened. The next few days were torture. Maya didn't call, didn't text. I wanted to reach out but didn't know what to say. How do you respond to someone kissing you like that and then running away? How do you go back to normal after everything has changed? I replayed that kiss in my mind constantly, analyzing every second, every sensation, trying to understand what it meant, what she wanted, what I wanted. On the fourth day, I couldn't take it anymore. I drove to her apartment, my heart in my throat, not sure what I'd say, but knowing I had to see her. She answered the door looking like she hadn't slept much either, her eyes red-rimmed, her usual composure cracked. "I was wondering when you'd show up," she said quietly, stepping aside to let me in. We stood in her living room, the space between us feeling vast, despite being only a few feet. "You can't just kiss me like that and disappear," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "You can't turn my entire world upside down and then run away." She wrapped her arms around herself, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. "I know. I panicked. I finally did what I'd been wanting to do for months, and then the reality of it hit me, and I couldn't handle it. Months, I repeated, latching on to that word. This has been going on for months? She nodded, looking miserable. Longer, maybe. I don't even know when it started. One day you were my best friend, and then gradually, without me noticing exactly when it changed, you became everything. Every song reminded me of you. Every good thing that happened, you were the first person I wanted to tell. Every night I went to bed thinking about you, and every morning I woke up the same way. My heart was pounding again, hope and fear warring inside me. Why didn't you say something sooner? Because I was terrified, she admitted, her voice breaking slightly. I was terrified of losing you. Our friendship means everything to me. The thought of ruining it, of making things weird between us, of losing the most important person in my life. It paralyzed me. I kept thinking if I just ignored it, it would go away. But it didn't. It just got stronger. I took a step toward her. And now, you've already kissed me. You've already changed things. What are you going to do now? She looked up at me, tears glistening in her eyes. I don't know. I still can't explain what this is. I don't have words for it. All I know is that when I kissed you, it felt more right than anything I've ever done. And when I walked away, it felt like I was tearing myself in half. I closed the distance between us, reaching for her hands. Then stop trying to explain it. Stop trying to make it make sense. Just feel it. Be in it with me. She squeezed my hands, searching my face. You feel it too? I laughed, the sound somewhere between joy and disbelief. Maya, I've been falling for you so gradually I didn't even notice until you kissed me. But looking back, it's been there all along. Every time I prioritized seeing you over anything else. Every time I caught myself staring at you. Every time someone asked if we were together, and part of me wished we were. I just didn't let myself acknowledge it. Hope bloomed across her features, cautious but real. So, what do we do? I pulled her closer until we were standing the way we'd been that night in my apartment. We stop running. We stop overthinking. We just be honest about what we want. And what do you want? She asked, her voice soft but steady. I cupped her face the way she'd cupped mine, feeling brave and terrified, and more certain than I'd ever been about anything. I want you. However that looks, whatever that means. I want to explore this, to see where it goes. I want to kiss you again and not have you run away. She smiled then, really smiled, and it was like watching the sun come out. I want that too. I want you too. I'm still scared out of my mind, but I want this more than I'm afraid of it. I leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she needed to, but she didn't. She met me halfway, and our second kiss was different from the first. Less desperate, more deliberate. A choice we were both making with clear eyes and open hearts. It was soft and sweet and full of promise, and when we pulled apart this time, she didn't run. Instead, she wrapped her arms around me and held on tight, her face buried in my neck. I held her back, feeling her heartbeat sync with mine, feeling the rightness of this settle into my bones. We stayed like that for a long time, just holding each other, letting the reality of what we were becoming sink in. I still can't explain it, she murmured against my neck. What you are to me, what this is, it's bigger than words. I kissed the top of her head, breathing in her familiar scent. Then don't explain it. Just stay. Just be here with me. That's all I need. She pulled back to look at me, her eyes bright with unshed tears and something that looked a lot like love. "I'm not going anywhere. Not anymore. I'm done running from this, from us." And she meant it. We spent the rest of that evening talking, really talking, about everything we'd been feeling, all the moments we'd missed or misread, all the almost that had led us here. We laughed and cried and kissed some more, and with each passing hour, the fear receded a little more, replaced by excitement and hope and the deep certainty that this was right. Looking back now, 6 months later, I'm grateful for that kiss, for Maya's inability to explain what she felt, and her courage to show me anyway. Sometimes the most important things can't be put into words. Sometimes you just have to feel them, trust them, and leap into them with both feet. Our friendship didn't end when we became something more. It deepened, evolved, became the foundation for a love that still takes my breath away. Maya still can't explain it, what we have, and I've stopped asking her to, because I can't explain it either. All I know is that she's mine and I'm hers, and that's more than enough.